Here's my question of the day. Do you read the obituaries? It's pretty hard today to even read the obituaries unless you get a daily newspaper, which most people don't get anymore. I do. I love my morning paper. And of course, one of the things that they've kept in it, even though the paper has become extremely thin and unnewsworthy, they have kept the obituaries. And I look at them. Now, why I do this, I have no idea. I've lived in this city for a year, and I don't know a soul. I mean, really, that would appear in the city newspaper. But every day I look and I read them. Why do I do that? Because my mother did that. I remember growing up, my mother read the obituaries every day. But she had good reason to. She was born, raised, and died in the same city. I, on the other hand, have lived in, 10 to 12 different places. So it's pretty impossible for me to really know anyone in the obituary section. She would read it, and that's how she found out when her friends had passed or their parents. I mean, it was a go-to section. I never looked at them until I was probably in my maybe late 60s. The last place I lived in, I stayed for about 14 years, which was probably the longest I've stayed anywhere. And I was pretty active in the community, so yes, I occasionally would see someone I knew. But now I'm reading them, I want to say for pleasure, for the pleasure of reading their accomplishments, what they've done in their life, what people think of them. And then I wonder, did they write that themselves? Because it's so glowing. How would you write such a glowing obituary for yourself? I guess it's not too hard. But most of them talk about loving families and how wonderful the person was, and I'm sure they were. And if they were successful in their careers, it will list that. Sometimes there'll be a half page for someone who's really well known in the community, and I think, wow, I wonder how much that cost. Whew. In any case, I'm reading those obituaries and I'm thinking, wow, I have a lot to live up to, because these people have done a lot of wonderful things in their lives. I often wonder what mine will say. And I think, well, if I have an illness where I have the time to write it myself, I will. But if I go suddenly, then who's going to write my obituary? Because no one really knows me. I mean, I don't have children, and I've only been married a year, and my sisters are in their 90s. No one really knows me or what I've done or not done. So it's interesting. And also, does it really matter? I don't think so. In our retirement community, there's a long, narrow table just before you get to the dining room. So you have to pass by it. And every day we glance at the table because that's where they put the photos of the people who have passed away from our community. And I'm always happy when there's no photos, but if there is one, we look to see if we know the person. Well, I never know the person because I've only been here a year, but I think, wow, someday I'm going to start knowing these people, and that's what happens when you live in a retirement community. When I first was looking at this particular retirement community to move into, I was given a tour by a 92-year-old woman who had the energy of a 20-year-old. In fact, both me and my friend were exhausted when she walked us at full speed around the campus. In any case, when she got to the table, she waved her hand and said, yes, here are the pictures of those who are passed on. And she said, we all look at it, and if we don't see our our own photo, we know it's going to be a good day. Well, I laughed so hard because in a way it's true. I don't know what happened to that woman, but boy, I want to be like her when I'm 92. So, have you had any thoughts about this? Do you read the obituaries? Have you thought about what yours will say? Let me know below. Thanks. Have a great day.